This phenomenon differs from association based on contiguity, which is a repetition of experience, and from association based on similarity in the intellectual sense. Such images are linked not because they were previously paired, and not because we perceive some association of similarity between them, but because they have a common affective tone. Happiness, sadness, love, hatred, surprise, boredom, boredom, pride, fatigue, and so on may become the centers of gravity that hold together images or events that have no rational relationship to each other, but that are imprinted with the same emotional sign or mark. For example, happy, sad, erotic, and so forth. These types of associations are very often present in dreams or daydreams, that is, in states of mind in which the imagination has free rein and works at random, any which way. It is easy to understand that this overt or latent influence of emotions is likely to facilitate the occurrence of completely unexpected groupings and represents an almost unlimited arena for new combinations because the number of images that have identical emotional imprints is very large. As a very simple example of this sort of combining of images with a common emotional sign, we can cite ordinary instances of associating any two different impressions that do not have anything at all in common, aside from the fact that they induce similar moods in us. When we call blue a cool color and red a warm one, we are identifying the impressions of blue and cold only on the basis that they induce similar moods in us. It is easy to understand that fantasy, which is governed by a similar emotional factor, the internal logic of feeling will represent the most subjective, most internal form of imagination. However, the inverse relationship between emotion and imagination also holds. While in the example we described, emotion influences imagination. In other cases, imagination influences emotion. This phenomenon could be called the law of emotional reality of the imagination. Ribot formulates the essence of this law as follows. All forms of creative imagination, he says, include affective elements. This means that every construct of the imagination has an effect on our feelings, and if this construct does not in itself correspond to reality, nonetheless the feeling it evokes are real feelings, feelings a person truly experiences.